Oh, okay. I know that someone's going to, there'll be a few people coming in, but I should probably start since I think I've only got 30 minutes left, and I'll warn you now, I might run over a little bit. So if you're really hungry, just leave at 12:10 for a hamburger. But I also hope that what I have to say is of some value to you. And my apologies to those who had to listen to me first time around who are stuck with me again. But welcome to all of you. This second session is the strategies for choosing courses. So I'm going to assume that you all have some sense of how to read a calendar, but please don't hesitate to ask questions at any point. And if like I'm looking this way and forget to look this way, just wave a little more. It's just, I think I'm trying to stay close to the mic because we're live streaming. And so, and sometimes I get distracted by having to talk to groups of people. Registrar's offices are used to working one-on-one with students, and group is just not my thing. But here we go. This session is on strategies for choosing courses. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I've color-coded my slides. I'm telling you because you probably won't notice. But it's we start with some course basics, then I'm going to talk about strategies for choosing courses. This long one, registration instructions in the arts and science timetable, is probably, I think it's one slide, but really we're doing it all through this whole session. Then I'm going to talk about some steps to register, some important dates, and some tips. So we'll start with the course basics. Do you all know how to read a course description? Good. Again, I'll repeat, if there's something that is zooming by you and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just raise your hand because you're probably not the only person who doesn't know, and you're just indulging me by letting me go on. Basics. Courses is a word that gets used interchangeably with credits by me and by others at the university. If I say courses, understand that that is usually almost always means courses equals a full credit. Though sometimes people talk about courses and it means a half credit. But there are courses and there are credits. Anyway, in the Faculty of Arts and Science, we have a fall-winter session, which is divided up in the first term. That says F section, but that's a term. So fall term or first term, and second term or spring term, which is also called winter because it's the fall-winter session. I don't write the rules, but that's how it works. So we have half courses or half credits and full credits. More half credits these days than full credits. Okay. So I am just going to quickly review how to read a course description. This is the room for Humanities and Social Sciences, but I'm going to use a science course because it's got the most options available. The most peculiarities. First three letters is the department. Next three letters is the number of the course. In math and in chemistry, the higher the number, often the harder the course. This is never the case in the humanities and the social sciences. For instance, Echo 105 is actually a step down from the Echo half courses 101. And English 140 is not harder than English 120. The higher the number, it does not correspond to a harder course. There's the hours are listed. So there's 12 weeks in first term and 12 weeks in second term. So if this is a half course, there's 12 weeks in the term. There's 36 lectures in this term, which 12 times 3 is 36. That means there's 3 hours of lectures every week in this course. This course actually has tutorials in it. Often in the humanities and social sciences, there will be tutorials set up that are not written in the calendar, but once you're in the class, they will set up tutorials and they will work it around your schedule. They'll offer multiple tutorials that you don't need to sign up for on Acorn, but they allow you to sign up for a tutorial around your other scheduled courses. But in the sciences, you often sign up for a tutorial, 12 tutorials. This is 12 weeks in the term. It's an hour a week. This 18 practical almost never applies in the humanities and the social sciences, but this is actually, this is 6 practicals of 3 hours every 2 weeks. It's chemistry practicals. So not to worry in the humanities and social sciences. You always get a course description. Watch for the prerequisites and co-requisites. In the humanities and the social sciences, if there's a prerequisite, the chances are much better that if you feel that you have the prerequisite for the course, even though you don't have the listed prerequisite, you can often talk to the department. In chemistry, you can't say, I don't have high school chemistry, but I'm sure I can do this, because the answer is, oh no, you can't. But in the humanities, if there's a prerequisite that they list, you might say, you know what, I've done readings on the side and I really like this. Go and talk to the department. They're usually pretty understanding about these things. You can talk to an undergraduate advisor, a chair, and say, I think I've got what it takes to take this course. On this topic, we talk a lot about the first year courses that you're taking because you're first year students, but you could also take upper year courses. So sometimes if you have a language facility with the language, or you speak another language and you want to take a language course, you might not be taking a first year language course. You might be taking a second year language course. But there are also some courses in interdisciplinary programs that are 200 series. If they have the word introductory in the title, then you might think, okay, I'm okay taking that 200 series course. I would say if you are someone who has signed up for 3 200 series courses in your first year, you may want to talk to an advisor just to see if what you're doing looks okay, or if an advisor has any recommendations for you about taking 3 200 series courses. However, I repeat, if it says introductory in the title, you might be okay with it. Okay? Co-requisites, same thing. There's most of the humanities and social sciences don't have co-requisites unless we're talking economics. And for those of you, anybody taking economics? Yeah, these will have some co-requisites that you do need to watch, especially if you plan to do a specialist in economics. And then just read the course calendar really carefully. But again, you can always get an exception, and by talking to the department. Also at lunch, there's going to be a Jazz is here from economics. So make a point of going and talking to him just to say, hey, I'm thinking of economics. Can you tell me what, ask them something. We got profs coming. They gave up a Saturday, so find something to ask them. Like, what can I do to prepare for your course? Although he's teaching the Echo 204, but he's taught the 100 series courses before. So make a point of reaching out. There's a whole bunch of other professors there at lunch. I know you're going to be eating and you're going to be meeting upper year students, but really just try talking to an upper year, to a prof. It's a great experience, or it's like good practice for when you get here in September. And if you don't know what to say, I've got some other suggestions at the end if you don't leave to eat your hamburger before I finish. Distribution requirement, this is not for you guys. This is for students here from years ago, but the breadth requirement is for you. And that's a course description. Any questions? Great. So basically, that a comma means an and a semicolon means an and a slash means an or. And that's really, if you got that down, you're okay. All right. So typical course load for the fall winter is 5 credits. That is 5 full credits. More and more of our courses come as half courses. So you might take 5 half courses in first term, 5 half courses in second term. That's 10 half courses or 5 credits. You can take fewer than 5. And I know you'll hear, not just from me, but you probably heard in this morning's session too, a standard load is 5. But it's not a race, and don't feel that you absolutely have to take 5 courses a year. There are some students who just say, I'm paying money to go here. I want something valuable out of my degree, and 4 is plenty. 4 is tons for people. So if you are not in a big race, then even though you're paying a program fee, which is the same amount of money for 4, 5, or 6 courses, or 4, or 4.5, or 5, 5.5, or 6. Like, I would say, whatever you do, don't take 6 courses. There is a strategy, which I'm going to talk about in 5 minutes, or maybe 10. Don't leave before I tell you the strategy for the 6th course. But you don't want to settle into 6 courses in first year in order to do a 4-year degree in 3.5 years with summer. It's not a good way of doing university. So 5 is a standard load. 4 is perfectly acceptable, and we have lots of students registered with Accessibility Services who may be taking a smaller course load than that as well. Okay. So, and try and balance out your courses between terms. So you don't want 6 courses in first term and 4 in second term. That still comes out to 5, but you'll be working way too hard in first term. Okay. So all the things to consider when you're looking at courses. There's lots of options in the Faculty of Arts and Science, and there's lots of flexibility. We have courses that offer new approaches to the same subject matter as courses with a more traditional approach. It happens when you have 2,000 courses. It's a great opportunity. There's just that much happening in the Faculty of Arts and Science. And if there's one thing I want you to understand, it's that there is so much available to you. And I hope you heard in your session this morning, your first session, about the research opportunities and all of the things that happen alongside of your classroom experience, whether it's doing internships or service learning, or the professional experience year for some students. Some commerce students will do it, the occasional economics student will do the professional experience year. There's just a lot available to you inside the class as well as outside of the class. Course descriptions will often help to explain differences between similar courses. It can be a challenge to get course descriptions in advance, aside from the course description in the calendar. But scheduling plays a big part for many students. We recognize that a lot of our students, actually of our Canadian citizens, of our Ontario residents, 60% of our Ontario residents at Innis are on OSAP. So there are many students who work at the same time, a couple of hours a week. So sometimes those requirements need to be balanced out when you're looking at your course selections. There's sometimes family obligations. Navigating between campuses, the campus can be a bit challenging. That's because this is the university's 35 city blocks. We're in the upper left of this picture. This is Robarts right here, the big library. We started here in Innis, and right now we're sitting in rooms here in Woodsworth. But this is the whole campus, and it's 35 city blocks. And getting across it, say from west to east in the middle of the winter means getting across Queen's Park Crescent, which can be a little bit tricky, though it's a little better since they've just they've paved some of it, they've bricked some of it, but it does ice over in the winter. But if you're wondering, it is possible to get between classes. There's 10 minutes between every class. So classes in the Faculty of Arts and Science start at 10 minutes after the hour. So if it says that the class starts at 10, it starts at 10:10, and it goes to the hour. So if you have a class at 10 and a class at 11, and if you're wondering if you can get from west to east in the 10 minutes between, you can't do it by walking casually. You can do it by running. Some people use bikes. So sometimes if you need to get over to a big class and you want to sit in the front of the class, it can be a little hard to get a seat at the front if you're a minute late. Most profs understand if you come a minute late. The occasional one doesn't take it very well. But you can schedule courses back to back. The fact is that you could have a course in West and Central, and literally it's as simple as just crossing the street. And there's lots of time. Wouldn't it be nice if you knew exactly where the classes were offered? Sadly, you won't know this until August, after you've chosen your courses, which you're going to be doing in July. But thankfully, you can make changes, which I will talk about. Yes. Yeah. Our lectures and tutorials usually close together with the question for the live stream people. No. Yeah, especially for large classes, the tutorials can be all over the place. Again, when the locations are available, you can often switch so that you can get something relatively close. I'm not saying that they're on extreme ends of the campus, but they're, yeah, no. It's sometimes hard. Like if a course is going to be taught in Convocation Hall to 1,500 people, that's the only place where we can teach 1,500 people at one time. And we do it 9 times for first year courses. So then when you have tutorials, they can be pretty much anywhere. Yeah. Shall I keep going? All right. Oh, yeah, timetables updated late August. Okay, more basics. Collect as much information as possible. Ask questions now. Ask profs questions. Ask upper year students questions. Ask fellow students questions. But just remember, it's a little like the news. Like, remember to filter. Not all information that you hear from everybody is going to obtain in your case. I'm going to give you an example. Some students will say, oh my gosh, you want an easy course? Take Philosophy 245. It's modern symbolic logic. You know who says this? Math students. Math students get 90 in modern symbolic logic, a philosophy course. You think it's a humanities course. That's great for me. But just be careful who you're getting the advice from. If you're also a math student, then great, because modern symbolic logic might be ideal for you. I'm not saying if for humanities students, don't take modern symbolic logic, great course, but it might be more challenging for you than for others. Okay, I will also say for the sake of the live stream, it is freaking cold in this building. And my teeth are going to start to chatter. All right. Lots of places to get information. The arts and science web pages. We all worked quite hard on our presentation slides yesterday because the arts and science website is it's a new website and they're still fixing some of their pages. So some of the information seems a little more challenging to get to right now than one would think it should be. But they will be cleaning up these pages. So if you are looking on the Arts and Science website and trying to get some information and you're frustrated, don't worry, they're going to fix it up. It will be a little bit easier to find in the next few weeks before your start date for signing up for courses. I have yet to get to those important things like start dates, but I do want to just say again that it's good to get information from as many sources as possible when you're making decisions. Strategies for choosing courses involves doing lots of work ahead of time. Do you see my last bullet point here? Class averages are pretty much the same in all courses, and they hover around a C+ or B-. However, the first year foundation courses have a slightly higher class average. And then I just wrote for a good reason. And my next slide does not include the reason. I'm about to tell you the reason. I talked about large classes. So Convocation Hall, Psych 100, 1,500 students. Doesn't mean it's not a great class. Ashley Wagner-Denton often teaches it. She's going to be here at lunch. You can go and talk to her. She's a great prof who teaches in a large class. It's not that large class experiences are terrible. They aren't. But there's also small class experiences, which are pretty strong indicators that students will do well. The thing about these first year foundations, and particularly the first year foundations at Innis that the principal talked about this morning, there's 15 of them. We've got 15 profs who've agreed to teach a course here at Innis from their department with some really exciting titles, and I must have a slide, so we'll take a look at them in a minute. But I just want to tell you that these first year foundation courses have higher class averages for a really obvious reason. There's a gap between high school and university, and that gap is it's a learning gap. You will learn how to study at university, but you can learn a little bit faster in a small class experience. Why? Because if you're in a class with under 30 students and it's a seminar class instead of a lecture class, you know that the prof is going to ask you questions. So what will you do? You'll read before you go to class. You should read before you go to all of your classes, but when you have 5 courses, you don't have time to read for all of your classes. Sometimes you will just read for your seminar, first year seminar course. But by reading, you'll have understood. The lecture will be more informative. You'll be able to talk in class. When the prof approaches you and asks a question, you'll have an answer. It's interactive, and that helps your learning because that's one learning style that works. So does note-taking work, but this one seems to work particularly well. So students tend to go to the classes more often rather than stop going to the classes, and they do better, and the class average is higher. Ta-da! And they're good courses. So, course selection strategies. When you're choosing your courses, let's say you're all going to start with 5 courses because you can settle down and try them all out and then settle on 4 if you want, but start with 5. You all know about programs of study, and you have some sense of what programs of study you're going to go into. So when you look at these programs, you know that there's some first-year courses that are required. For economics, of course, you've got to do a math and an economics course. So those are your required courses. In English, you don't even have to do an English course in order to apply to the English program. So really, you have no required courses, but maybe it's French and you're doing an introductory French course. Anyway, those courses that you need for the programs that ideally you think you're going to go into, you would schedule first because you want to make sure that you get those classes, and maybe you want to choose your favorite time for those classes. So start with the courses where you know you're going to require for programs you're interested in taking. And then you can always use a convenient scheduling tool, and you'll see when we look at the timetable, you can just plop them in to the timetable plan. It's a planning tool on the timetable. Yes. Oh, we're going to get to that. Yeah, don't eat the hamburger before you hear. Okay. Yeah, because it's coming up in about 7 slides. Balance your course. Oh yeah, we already talked about balancing your course load between the terms. Really, don't give yourself Mondays and Fridays off. I mean, you could schedule it this way, and I realize some of you will be traveling in. We do have students who are commuting like 3 hours a day. I know, I saw that face. It's awful. I can't imagine. But that's why I live downtown. And if I can't bike somewhere, I don't go. But not everyone has that luxury, because you also have to pay more to live downtown to save money on the subway to bike. But anyway, we have students who spend a fair bit of time in transit, and you sometimes have to stand on the subway, so you can't read at the same time. So I get that it's nice not to have to commute in every day, but try not to give yourself a 4-day holiday when you're in university, since you're here to learn. So try not to put everything back to back just to get Mondays and Fridays off. So you can consider back-to-back classes. Can you handle morning classes is a question worth asking. Can you handle evening classes? Is it safe on campus to walk around at night? I would say yes. Getting off campus to a subway is also, the downtown campus is quite safe, but there's also a walk safe program. So wherever you are on campus, you can call walk safe, and 2 people, a guy and a girl, will walk you to a subway at night. So that's good to know that exists. I talked about the higher the number does not mean harder the course. Electives, we'll talk about. Enrollment controls, we're going to get to. Reflect before, second year courses, I talked about that already. And always check prerequisites and co-requisites. Remember, we read the course description, and if there's prerequisites and you don't have them, be sure that you ask before you stay in the course, because you don't want to get kicked out. But like I say, Humanities and Social Sciences is more flexible about this. Strategies, big classes. Okay, so I kind of talked about this already too by mentioning Convocation Hall. The majority of classes in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, 2,000 classes, are under 40. But that doesn't mean that all of our first year students are in classes under 40, obviously. And 7 of our courses, I said 9, 7 of our courses are offered in Convocation Hall, and we'll have enrollments of between 1,000 and 1,500 students. And a lot of students are taking one of these 7 courses, because it's anthropology, astronomy, the bio, the physics, the pol, and the psych. Then one of them has an enrollment of 850, because it's also in Convocation Hall, but it just happens to be the Soc 101. The 150 this year does not have 850. And then another 20 courses have enrollments between 350 and 500, because they're offered in those locations at OISE, Ontario Institute for Studies in Education up on Bloor Street, MedSci, Bader, Earth Sciences, and My Hall, buildings that you will become intimately familiar with when you're a student here. So they are taught by good instructors, but they do happen to be large classes. So then there are also smaller classes, and we do have the first year foundation seminars, which I have talked about already, and also the first year ones. Remember, first year foundations come in 2 flavors, the seminars and the ones programs. Is there anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about right now? What's the ones program? The ones program, each of the 7 colleges and the Monk School offers the ones programs, which are first year foundation ones programs. So at Innis, it's the Creative City. And so there's 4 half courses, and you can choose up to 2 of them. And for like Victoria has their streams, like the Pearson stream, and they focus on, Trinity has 2 streams. So their collections usually have 2 half courses, but at Trinity and Vic, they can be more than that, that focus on a particular area of interest. Does that make sense? Okay. Whereas the first year seminars, most of them are half courses, And as you heard Principal Charlie Kyle say this morning, we are encouraging as many of our students at Innis in particular to look at a first-year foundation, because it is just a really good way of introducing you to university. And everybody has space in their timetable for a half-course first-year seminar. So, okay. Has everybody seen the first-year seminars? Okay, how are we doing for time? I still have time to do this. This is the Arts and Science webpage about the first years, but if first year foundation Innis, if we go to preparing for first year seminars, Denise will have sent you this link. Hopefully a number of you have seen this page, but some people are squinting like they've never seen it before. Okay. And these are all the courses that we offer. So yeah, like Fabian, we've got Ashley, Jenna Patterson, and then you click on them and okay, I'll choose Fabian's because his is so, then there's a full course description, and then we got them to fill out this get to know me form, just so you can get to know a little bit about profs, since students typically find profs kind of intimidating. So we thought this would be a fun way of introducing profs to students. And then if they've been in the news, then we've been updating this in the news section. So anyway, so we're pretty excited about the 15 courses, so give them some thought. Here we are. Let's see what's next. Oh, there's my link. Okay. So what is it about these courses that we think is good? Well, from the previous slide, they count for degree credit. They're limited to 30 or fewer students. They all have breadth designations attached to them. They may, in some cases, count towards program requirements, but they also give enrollment priority to Innis first-year students in the first week. Remember that, because we're going to talk about priority any minute now. They connect you with peers at Innis. They're offered at or close to Innis College. We're going to familiarize you with a learning strategist in our library, and they're for students of any academic background. Okay, so we're getting closer and closer to those enrollment controls. Strategies. This page, okay, if you were in my first session, you've seen this already, but if you weren't, you haven't seen this before. Just so you know, don't be alarmed when you see all of these things that look kind of similar, because the 100 series is the same as 100 level is the same as first year courses. A&S is Arts and Science, also sometimes referred to as FAS. First year foundations come in flavors of the ONES program and the first year seminars. Acorn is the student web service, also called the SWS, and it was Rosie until 3 years ago, so upper year students will still call it Rosie. And administrators on the back end still use some Rosie, but your front end is called Acorn. Subject post is also program of study. I talked about fall, winter being first and second term. These aren't quite the same. The breadth requirement is not the same as distribution requirement. You don't have to worry about distribution requirement. Credit versus course, I've already done it and been corrected in the first session. Be careful. Credit is a weight. There are half credits and full credits, but everybody in arts and science uses credit and course interchangeably. So just be cautious when someone says course. They could mean half course, they could mean full course. Term, session, words. We've read, okay, we'll look at a timetable listing. Yeah, okay, time to talk about enrollment controls. So let's go to a timetable listing. Let's do economics. I'm going to look at all ECHO 100 series courses in order to get to ECHO 101. Is anyone else in the room going to take economics, or just one person? Wow, just you. I find it hard to believe. I think some people haven't raised their hands. ECHO 100. Okay. So this is Principles of Microeconomics. There's timetable instructions that you should always read, and additional course information is usually a course description and the stuff from the calendar. Okay, there's a lecture section for this course, and there's a time. This is offered Tuesdays from 11 to 12, Thursdays from 11 to 12, and Fridays 11 to 12. There's your 3 hours a week. And the instructor's name isn't here yet. The room isn't here yet. You have to wait until August. But you can tell how many people can take this course. 468 people can take this section. And another 480 can take this section. And that, don't know why it won't scroll. And then another 480, 500 in this section, 480. So there's lots of people who will be taking this course. Some of them offer priority. Here we go. So for enrollment control, for this course, and this is worth paying attention even if you're not taking ECHO, because this P for priority appears a lot in the calendar, in the timetable, and this is what I really need to tell you about. Priority for this course is given to groups of students until the 31st of July. So you're going to start signing up for this course, these courses on the 25th of July, which I'll show you in one slide. And then priority is given to people for a period of time. And the priority is given to people in first year arts and science and year one architecture and Wordsworth. This is like a handful of people. On August 2nd, everybody else, like year 2, year 3, and year 4 students can try to get into this course. Okay. The priorities are explained here, but let's use another course. Let's use a Paul 100 series course. Bad choice, because there's no priorities. I know. Let's say you're thinking of taking East Asian Studies. No, I want. Darn it. I'm so sorry. I'm looking for something in particular, which is, there we go. Okay, so for History 102, the enrollment controls, 275 people can take this course, and priority is given to groups of students until July 31st. And who are those groups? People in second year, third year, fourth year, first year humanities. Who is not included in this group is science students. That is because this history course is first available. Okay, so basically the fourth, third, and second year students aren't going to be taking History 102. So you don't have to worry about the fact that they can also get into the course. What matters is that you're in Humanities and Social Sciences, but there's also thousands of students in the sciences who might also be interested in taking this course. So you might be concerned that they might get the course before you, but the fact is that they can't sign up for this course until August the 2nd. So there's plenty of days for first you, the Humanities and Social Sciences, to get into this course before the science students can get into it. Does that make sense? Okay, because then if you look at, let's say, that cryptology course, the mathematics of secrecy. This is the course, this is one of the first year foundations at Innis. This has, okay, this enrollment control has not been fixed. Sorry, because Arts and Science, I talked to them yesterday and they're fixing these. Okay, let me look at German 197. Okay, If you're interested in taking this German course, automaton puppet thing in German literature, it's restricted and it has an R2. There will be, when the calendar is fixed, there's going to be lots of these R2s. So this is really what I need to point out to you. R2 means, first of all, this section is restricted to 2 groups of students. Group 1 are given priority until the 31st of July. First year students start to choose courses on the 25th of July, and up until the 31st, Group 1, these students get to choose the course. So only Innis College students in the Faculty of Arts and Science get to choose this course for the first 5 days. Then, starting August 2nd, all first-year students in Arts and Science get to choose this course. Yes. Correct. And you know what? Let's go back to that right now, because those start dates. If there's one thing you learn from this session, it's that you will start choosing. Is anybody coming in with transfer credits? Are you coming into second year, or are you coming in with transfer credits from high school? Okay, so you'll still be a first year student. Anybody coming in from another university? Okay, that means you're all first year students, because nobody has more than 4 courses. So you will all start choosing courses on the 25th of July. Okay, sorry, I forgot there's people online. On the 19th of July, you will find out what time on July the 25th you will start choosing courses. Now, I have a slide in here somewhere that, yes. Okay. 19th, you can view your start time. July the 25th, you start choosing courses. This is absolutely your best chance of getting your courses. Okay. Also, because you're humanities and social sciences, you also have the best chance of getting your courses, because the way this works is all first year students start choosing courses on the 25th. But I happen to know that it's going to go in this order. At 9 in the morning, the humanities and social sciences will start getting in. You will get in groups of 500 every 20 minutes. So if you have a start time of 9 o'clock, you have the best start time of all first year students. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, and then the commerce students get in, and then the computer science, and then the life science students. The life science students will have, remember we were talking about the restricted, life science students have priority for the life science courses. So if you're a humanities student getting in at 9 in the morning and you're trying to get into chemistry 135, first of all, let's hope you have the prerequisites. Secondly, do you really want to do that? But thirdly, you won't be able to, because priority is given to students in the life sciences. You wouldn't be able to try and get this chemistry course until August the 2nd. Just as, remember we were talking about another example of students who are not humanities, who are trying to get humanities courses. So again, between 9 and 12, the humanities and social science students will be logging in. Be sure wherever you are in the world to be logging in at this time. To increase your chances of getting not only the course you want, but the section of the course you want. Because you saw, like with the economics, there's multiple sections of a course, and you no doubt have a preferred time. So in order to increase your chances of getting your preferred time, log in at your start time. I can't stress it enough. Okay, then let's say you want to get into a course that has a P for priority, and you don't have the priority on this course. So there's nothing that's going to get you into this course on the 25th of July, and there's nothing that's going to get you into this course up until the 31st. You need to try on August the 2nd. Okay, on August the 2nd, again, people get in a particular order, and this is how it worked last year. The year 4 students got in first at 9, then the year 3, then the year 2, then the year 1 students. So the year 1 students got in last on August the 2nd. So if there's a course that has a P and you don't have that P priority indicator, you try on August the 2nd. And I'm pretty sure that you will not have a specific start time. I'm pretty sure everybody will just start at 12 o'clock. Does that make sense? Any questions about this? Because I'm happy to clarify, because I highly doubt that I was crystal clear. Go ahead.
I would, let's say if I have courses that I already have for the,
Yeah.
when I log in on the
25th.
do I just like, do I just publish whatever I say?
Wouldn't that be nice? That's the way Amazon works. That is not how the enrollment cart works. And so there's a slide that says that. I'll answer your question, because now it's 20 after and you must be getting hungry. No, you have to enroll each individual course from your enrollment cart. Furthermore, if there's a course with a P in your enrollment cart for priority and you don't meet the priority, you'll hit enroll and it won't work because you don't have the priority. You won't have the priority until August the 2nd, right? Okay, does that make sense? Go ahead. Yay, we switched slides. I know. Up until the 31st of July, you can sign up for a maximum of 5.0 courses. But on August the 2nd, you can put yourself in 6.0 courses. Remember, I said, don't take 6 courses because you don't want to be enrolled in 6 courses for the whole year. But you might want to strategically try out 6 in order to pick your favorite 5. You can do this, but you can't sign up for the 6th until August the 2nd. Then when school starts, you can go to all 6. I would say, okay, you have until a drop date for the course, which is about 2/3 of the way through the year to drop a course. But I wouldn't work on 6 courses for 6-7 weeks of the term when there's only 12 weeks in the term. Make your decision on which courses you want in the first 2 weeks. It's also kinder to other people, because if you decide to drop one of your courses and it's a course that's full and someone else wants to get in it and they're on a wait list to get into that course, if you drop it, the next person on the wait list gets into it. Do you see my point? So you can try 6, get the syllabus, check out the prof, see what you think, and then settle into the number of courses you actually want. Does that make sense? Another hand? Yes. No, not up until the so the last date to drop a course. Okay. You can add courses up until the end of the 2nd week of this term. And then after the 18th of September, you can't add any more first term or Y courses. There's actually an additional week where exceptions can be made for some courses, but who cares? In the calendar, there's a section called dates and deadlines. For a half course, you will see in the calendar that it says at the beginning of November, I think it's the 2nd or the 4th, that's the last date to drop a course from your academic record. If you drop it before then, it's gone from your record. If you keep it, and then towards the end of the year, you think, oh my gosh, I'm failing this course, I need out. You can't have it removed from your record, but you can go to the registrar's office and discuss the possibility of using one of your LWDs, late withdrawals. But then it stays on your course stays on the record, but you have an LWD. Does that make sense? Good. For the full year course, it's also about 2/3 into the year. So the full year course that starts in September and goes through to April, that drop date is going to be early February. Okay? Good. Yes.
Early November is the last day to drop it without it showing up on your record?
Correct. Would you like me to show you where I saw that? It's in the calendar. Oh, sorry. Alt tab. Calendar, art side. You go to sessional dates for 2019 fall. And you see here 18th, last day to enroll in F and H courses. And then November the 4th, last date to drop F section courses from your academic record and have them not count towards your grade point average. Got it? I got that from the calendar as opposed to the arts and science website? Was there another hand? Okay. So I talked about wait lists. I hope you picked up on this. Lots of courses have wait lists. So if they're full, when you try and get into them, then you can put yourself on the wait list. And if somebody drops the course, then you have a good chance of getting into it. Remember this strategy for 6? You're not the only people in the room who know about the strategy of signing up for 6 courses. So lots of people will sign up for an extra course. In the first 2 weeks, they might drop the course, and then the people on the wait list get populated into the course. Here's another interesting strategy. The wait lists shut down a few days before the last day to sign up for courses. Remember the 18th of September was the last day to sign up for F courses and Y courses? Well, the wait lists are going to shut down about 5 days before that. It's on the arts and science site. When the wait list shut down, then it's a free-for-all. So if there's a course that is full, all it takes is for one person to drop it and for you to be trying to log into it and get the course. So there's a fair bit of movement on courses in those last days to enroll in courses. So basically what I want you to know is if there's a course that you're really hoping to get into, but you didn't succeed in getting into it, first of all, you will get most of the courses you want for your programs. You're in the Humanities and Social Sciences. This timetable is set up to work for you. But if there's a course that you're really hoping to get into, there's a fair bit of movement in the last couple of days. And the wait lists are also really reliable. Denise likes to say that if your spot on the wait list is approximately a number that corresponds to 10% of the class, then your chances of getting in from the wait list to the course are really good. So if the class capacity is 100 and you're 10th on the wait list, Denise feels pretty strongly that those students manage to get in. I've seen students who are 15% on the wait list get in, even 20 sometimes. So, okay. Okay, so it's reasonable to join a wait list if your wait number is within 10% of the class. Final dates. Okay, so this is where, here are those deadlines. The 4th to drop the course, the 18th to add courses. We talked about the first year foundation courses and how you have first priority for the INIS foundation courses for the first couple of days. Start times. I talked about a plan to use the planning tool on the timetable. You can just say, put this in my planner, and it populates your planner. I feel like you guys are probably better with technology than I am, so I don't need to bore you with that. I reminded you about 200 series courses. If you're interested in architecture or visual studies, they don't have their timetable up yet, but they will within the next couple of weeks. We talked about prerequisites. Conveniently, Acorn allows students to plop themselves into time conflicts. This is something that the university always wants to stop doing, but I'm relieved that this still works because it's a nice strategy. In the first 2 weeks, don't stay in a course in 2 courses that are offered at the same time. That's a horrible idea. But if you're signed up for 2 courses that are offered at the same time, at least gives you a chance to check them both out. That's that. Sorry, I'm sure there are questions. I just need to tell you, if you move from the waitlist into a course, you will get an email. That email is typically sent to your UToronto email, but you don't have one yet. So until middle of September, if first-year students are moved from a waitlist into a course, you will get an email at the email that we have for you, which is the email that you've been getting Denise's emails sent to you at. Okay, final advice. Acorn is pretty intuitive and they have some help. This is the bit that says you guys know how to use tools. So I feel like it would just be cumbersome for me to show you how to use Acorn. But please bear with me. I just have a few more pieces of advice. Repeat. On the 25th, don't miss your chance to sign up for your courses. It's your best chance. On the 2nd, you can add a 6th course. Then you need to pay for your courses. Daniela will be talking about paying for courses, but let me just tell you, you need to pay for your courses by the 28th of August or defer with OSAP. If you don't do this, then you run the risk of having all of your courses erased. And then you have to start over again and your chances of getting them are really terrible. So just remember, arrange for payment of your courses by the 28th of August. Okay. Then classes start on the 5th. Oh, remember I said the wait lists get turned off? They get turned off on the 13th of September. So then it's a free-for-all between the 13th and the 18th. Okay, finally, a couple of tips. Okay, ask a student is helpful, librarians is helpful. Do you see this bit? The libraries and ASU have copies of past tests. Could you keep this in mind, not for now, but for later? Because you will find out eventually, but you don't want to not know this in first year. In many courses, where's my cursor? In many courses, you can actually get some examples of past tests. You can get them from the libraries and from ASU. This is Arts and Science Student Union, okay? Remember that professors appreciate your visiting them during office hours. There's employment opportunities all over the place. If you're in a financial bind, the registrar's office does have emergency bursaries, so keep that in mind. Learning mistakes from mistakes is not always a bad thing there. Other tips, past student, one piece of advice he had 4 pieces. Sit towards the front of the class if possible, study harder for your first test than you've ever studied before, treat school like a job, and he used to always dress up for tests and it helped him. Tips from past principal. This principal would say that there are all sorts of different types of lecturers. There's one who treats you like an audience, and those are the professors who are performers, who enjoy teaching large classes and like to have students laugh when they say funny things. Those who treat you like a vessel, like Aquarius filling you up. Those who are versions of treat you as a version of Eliza Doolittle to their Henry Higgins. They want you to know exactly what they know. There's the Socratic method where these profs use dialogue to draw out knowledge. And then there's the occasional prof who considers you a supplement to their research. That's not that these profs aren't also good. They're just, teaching is not their thing. You might end up doing some great research with a prof like this, but sometimes you feel like you might be a bit of an inconvenience to them. We don't have a lot of profs like this, but there are the occasional ones. We do have lots of profs, though, doing research who are really interested in getting students to understand and get involved in their research. So remember, they're all smart. The trick is to figure out how to take in the knowledge that they are imparting. Okay. Finally, like I said, there are profs there at lunch. They're sitting in a room at tables and they're not close to the food, but it's better than having profs walk around approaching people feeling awkward. So it's better for you to go up to talk to them. And if you were, you're stuck and you don't know what to say to a prof, you can just say, like, what can I do to prepare for your first year course? Or is the specialist in English that much better than the major? Or I heard about experiential learning. Do you have any in your department? Or, what would you suggest as the best habit to develop in order to do well in your course? Or else, what mistakes did you make in first year? Otherwise, just go up and say, I don't know what to say to you, but I'm interested in your department. So, but try and talk to a prof. I'm so sorry for keeping you so long. That is the end. Okay. Yeah.